Is Thursday, August 3rd, 2017. You are watching MMAjunkie Radio. I'm Goz. That's Chase Kobrin. He's back for another co-host gig.
Yeah.
And Danny's in New York producing, doing his thing. Gorgeous George is walking into the studio as we speak. I just say that. He's not really. And today's show's going to be fun. We're going to have Aljamain Sterling, fresh off a win at UFC 214 over Renan Barão. Barão, that name. He used to starch people. He used to scare the hell out of people.
I don't know what happened to him. That was one of the things I want to talk about today. What happened to Renan Barão?
I don't know.
And what does this say about TJ Dillashaw? Is he as good? Because I mean, TJ Dillashaw
ruined him.
Well, that's one way to look at it. But is TJ as good as everyone thinks he is? I think he is. I think he's amazing, but he kind of built his name and won the belt from Barão, but maybe Barão isn't what we thought he was, or is this post-USADA stuff?
The streak that he went on
is
just so remarkable that you got to believe he's just a great fighter that I think ran into a roadblock.
Yeah, so what happened then? He got knocked. He got knocked out and just gave up, or he got older, or he stopped taking.
Confidence? There's so many things that can go into it.
Confidence.
But I think a lot of people that are listening right now are probably thinking, hey, Chase might be honest with that. You saw him.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He might be.
Show's getting ready to start. We're going to come up in a minute, as Danny just pointed out. People on on Facebook Live and on YouTube, you can actually hear Danny. The people who listen to the show on Sirius, you can't hear Danny.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that, Danny? The whole time, people on the video feed, they can hear you when you go 1 minute, or we gotta go, we gotta do that sort of thing. They can hear you, but the other audience can't.
Coming up in 30. Oh yeah. That's when I pull my microphone out of program like this. Now you can hear me. Now you can't. Now you can hear me. Now you can't.
Camera one, camera two.
Camera two.
Camera one, camera two. You about that life, Chase? Wayne's World?
Yeah. I remember. I wouldn't say that's like my life, but I like movies.
All right, guys. Coming up at 10.
10 seconds, George.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goz. This is what we do and why we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yes!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communication stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goz.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show. This is the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goz. He's our ace co-host back east, always handling the producing duties. Danny, of course, Auto Danny. Sitting to my right is Chase Kobrin from Tough Prince, MMA industry veteran. Been around, seen it all. And yes, yesterday he had a few things he wanted to get off his chest. I said, come back tomorrow. He called our bluff. Fuck, he got us. So we're stuck another 2 hours with him.
Yeah.
No, but actually, Chase, it's actually one of the more lively shows when you're here. So
thank you.
We really, really appreciate you coming back.
Thanks, man. I hold back when I'm here, too, quite a bit.
Thank God.
Yeah, well, maybe not so much today.
As in, like opinions towards the sport, or towards Goes and I, or
well, I like you. I do like you guys. I would have probably fought you guys on the street yesterday if we were having that sort of.
Were we that bad? We weren't that bad. We teased you more than that.
He didn't like getting told shut up.
No.
That's just something that doesn't happen in his
caught
world.
me off.
He's from the 305.
You can tell us.
You
to
remember
shut up. We play that game.
Kimbo and Masvidal? They got down for reasons like that.
Yeah. You want to hear a funny story? My brother was actually supposed to fight Kimbo before Kimbo got real big. My family, I'm a black belt in martial arts. My brother's a black belt in martial arts. He still teaches down there in Miami. And when Kimbo was taking those street fights, he was in contention to do it.
What's your brother's name?
Cagney. Weird name.
Is he a fighter? Or?
I mean, he's
MMA fight. Does he have any fights?
No, he's not an MMA fighter. This was a street fight situation.
Gotcha.
It was just one of those things where he knew somebody who knew somebody, and he was considering taking.
And what stopped it from happening?
I would say testicles. I would say
see.
I don't know if he really had the balls to do it. My brother's an absolute maniac. I just think it just didn't come to fruition. It was just one of those things.
Cagney Kobrin?
Yep. Kobrin, yeah. It was one of those things that kind of just got floated out there, and then. But this was before Kimbo really became Kimbo. And then when that happened, it was just like, what could have been? You could have been on one of those knockout videos, being knocked out.
Well, how do you know he wouldn't have pulled off the upset?
You know what? My brother is an
everybody's got a one-hitter quitter, right?
He is an animal, and he is a talented guy.
Is he a big dude like you?
He's a big guy, and he's athletic. He plays rugby now still. But that being said, Kimbo was just, at that time,
right?
Kimbo was just another animal. But we loved Kimbo. Like, Miami loves Kimbo. And Kimbo was from Reality Kings. I mean, everyone knew him through porn first in Miami. Right. And then everyone knew something. Because Kimbo, lived and stayed in the hood for a while. Like, everyone was in that same little circle. My brother went to Miami Northwestern, which was, you guys have probably heard him from high school football. Like, Northwestern was like the high school football team.
Actually, I haven't.
You haven't?
No. Well, but I know there's...
Yeah.
Hialeah was a good basketball school.
Hialeah?
Hialeah was a good basketball school back then. They had a guy named Chris Corciani who went there, and he wound up going to North Carolina State. And then I do follow the college football recruiting scene a little bit.
Yeah.
But I know there's a couple high schools that just bring it. I know one's in Fort Myers where Deion Sanders came from. I know there's a couple down in Miami.
St. Thomas Aquinas.
That one, yeah. That's another one.
Yeah, that's a really big school. Miami Northwestern was different. I actually have a hilarious story about that. It was one of my most embarrassing moments in my entire life. My brother, of course, was the kicker on Miami Northwestern.
Big guy was okay.
Well, here's the thing. My father didn't want him to get hurt. My father blew out his knee.
The same guy that was going to fight Kimbo.
Yeah.
Now I know why he didn't fight Kimbo. I thought he was like a defensive lineman, like
no, he's
6'4", 270.
No, he's basically my build at this point, a little bit more fit because
we would have been better off throwing the Clearwater Reach bad boy at Kimbo then.
Yeah, you could look at that point. Kidding, I think Kimbo would have knocked out anybody at this point.
So what happened?
Long story short, we went to Traz Powell Stadium, and if you're from Miami, that's hood. That is a scary place to be. I'll never forget driving in to watch his very first football game, the lowrider. With the porn playing, like in the car, I was just like, "Oh man, this is amazing." I stood out like a sore thumb for obvious reasons. My brother was the only white kid on the team, and opening kickoff, bang! He knocks it like straight through the goalpost. My brother had a leg and a half, right? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. But they called a penalty. Someone had gotten in front of the ball, offsides, so they ran it back. My brother goes to bang it again, kicks straight into the ground, dislocates his hip. He's on the floor, writhing in pain. And I'll just never forget, everyone in the stands just goes. And just every eyeball just turned to me because it was just an obvious, like, oh, that's who you were here to see. And I just went, okay. And he got carted off the field, opening kickoff. It was so embarrassing.
Do you remember Bo Jackson? He was playing against the Chiefs, I believe. And he had a long run. And I think, if I recall, someone tugged on his shirt, which caused him to step wrong. Had some sort of a hip injury that caused a degenerative hip. Well, that's what it caused the hip to be
degenerate.
Degenerate hip.
Right.
No, that was the one that ended his career.
He was already kind of a degenerate because he was on the Raiders, but
yes, that's what I meant.
He also was going to be the best athlete probably of our time had that not happened. He was an absolute
So that hip
freak.
thing's serious. So did your brother take a long time to recover from that?
He did, but he was young enough. Like,
gotcha.
You're young, he could do that. It was just such a good moment. It was a bad moment, but a good moment because it was my brother. So,
well, today's really a fun show where we can kind of hang out a little bit. We have Aljamain Sterling, He's going to be on the show. And he's an earlier one,
he's
right?
He's a 20 guy, yeah.
All right, so we'll probably take a quick one at 15 and then take another one after Aljamain. But after that, man, it's phone calls and, putting 214 to bed, talking about the card out in Mexico, and then we're going to have some lion fight chatter here as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun show, 866-522-2846. I promised the editorial a lot of guests this week. We had 4 on Tuesday, and then we've kind of slowed down, so we'll have to come strong tomorrow, Goes.
We have
but today, make it count. Make it count is all I'm saying, like on the Titanic, to make it count. Call in. Like, this is your last chance, I think. I really don't feel like we're going to keep going and harping on the same topics over and over. I think some of them are starting to die out, and the best card of the year is pretty much a wrap.
Have they died out, though? Like, you saw Dana and Tyron. Now they're okay, it seems like.
Well, I mentioned that yesterday, and I mentioned also that there was no apology, but they're cool. And of course, Tyron had it. Just said he was fooling about, I probably wasn't going to do it, but you said you were.
I mean, he wasn't going to do it.
We can't all. I know.
You guys really think he was going to do it?
Yes, I do. Something happened. I wonder what happened. Like, just as a curious, what happened?
I'll tell you exactly what came out of that guy's mouth. Man, I was just tripping. That's it.
Right?
There's no way he was going to do that, George.
Well,
how could that have benefited him?
The only thing.
What way would it have benefited him?
It wouldn't have.
It would have buried him.
But how did it benefit to say it?
That's what I'm saying. He would have never said. Say it.
Yeah, you agree that was silly, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about it. That's how it benefits him. You and
I don't think he was that sharp enough to say, I'm going to plant this seed, get everyone to talk about it, and then I'll tell everyone that I'm bullshit. I think he realized, oh, man, the rat word is floating around, the snitch word is floating around. I better just back off and say we're good, and never would have done it. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes Tyron is so aggressive in his comebacks or, pushbacks or whatever that he creates even more holes for himself. Mm-hmm. So, sometimes mainstream sports is so boring in the sense that when someone fucks up and you read the apology, you go, oh, well, obviously that went through like 2 or 3 PR people and an editor, and you can tell that's nowhere near what the athlete was going to say, but they just want to put the fire out. Sometimes that would behoove the athletes that we cover in our sport as well. But, we complain about that, then we complain about the accessibility and what's so cool and raw about our sport that, that we do have this kind of access. So careful what you wish for, man. It could all go away one day, and, we'll rarely have the interactions that we've had the last 20, 25 years with these athletes that has given many a fan great moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. 866-522-2846 is the number to call in. Yoel from Palos Verdes, I have a shout out for him. Him and his son listen every day, Goes.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I thought it was like a Yoel. I never heard of the name Yoel until we started covering Yoel Romero. But his son is Adiv, and his name is
Joel in Spanish?
Yoel, I guess, something like that. That's what we would say, but I think there's a boxer named Joel Casamayor, so they didn't put the Y. But regardless, it's Yoel and Adiv Stoller. They listen from Palos Verdes.
Oh, very cool.
So quick shout out to them. Thanks for hitting us up there via Facebook, and thank you for your support. Now, Chase, I guess this is the time because I don't want all of a sudden some calls to pour in, or we get into lion fight talk or anything else, and then we run out of time again. We've already set the calendar. You're not coming back till 2019.
That's why I wasn't expecting.
We'll have our fill here, so make it a good one to make it count. No, I'm just kidding.
19? You skipped over 18?
I skipped over 18.
That's okay.
No, he'll be back next week probably. So what else did you want to cover yesterday?
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll open up this list. But first of all, I want to correct you guys. You guys just had a little conversation about names of a caller, right? It's Tyron.
Yeah, Tyron. Yeah, just like Byron, but Tyron.
Yes.
What do we say?
Tyron.
It's
better than Tyrone. But
yeah, that is better.
Tyron. It's Tyron.
Tyron, yeah.
100%. And that was clarified. I was working on a memorabilia deal with him, and his sister actually handles some of his affairs.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey, just real quick, I want to put this to bed. What is his name? I don't want to call this dude the wrong name. She said, Tyron. Right. So I have it on good authority that is his name.
I saw an interview where he did, and somebody was asking him, and he goes, "You've heard of Byron, right?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm Tyron." And I go, okay, and that was the easiest way to remember it going forward.
Yeah, I still see people backtrack and say the wrong thing, though. So I'm just integrity. Show integrity.
We appreciate you clearing that up, Chassis.
No. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's okay. Listen, I found my place here. I think you guys love to hate me. That's fine. But I've decided to just And this is one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about. So as we're outdoors, we're doing the show from outdoors. It seems that's very strange.
I feel like Nick Diaz is gonna walk in right now.
Nick
How
Diaz.
y'all doing?
Let me tell you something. I like Nick Diaz.
Hick Diaz.
Hick Diaz.
Jason Knight.
Jason Knight.
Oh, dude. Okay, for the record, love Jason Knight.
So
I don't
do
know
I.
why. I don't know why they put him in there against Lamas. I think
Well,
it was way
it was
too
supposed
fast.
to be the Korean Zombie. The fight fell off, and so the other guy just, you know the fighters. You offer it to them, and they get a chance to beat a top 5 guy. Oh man, that could be a big summer because he won earlier this summer against Chaz. Who was it?
Skelly.
Yeah.
And
So that would have been a nice 1-2 for him. Nice 1-2 score, and but Lama's pretty well rounded. I don't get fights right too often, but that one I thought was one that I pegged pretty good last week. I said I really feel good about Lamas.
Yeah, a lot of people against
I've
you.
only seen Lamas lose to the top quality 45ers, and even when he loses, it's not like a lambasting. I think Mendez knocked him out, but he went 5 rounds with the champ Jose Aldo. He went 3 rounds with Holloway, and you could just tell there's no quit in that guy. So I felt good about that one.
Yeah, so Jason Knight's actually quickly become one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah.
Ryan Hall is another one as well. I know that's kind of a strange take because nobody really likes that style. I found his style to be actually kind of exhilarating, watching him be so offensively defensive. Even when he was rolling away, he was throwing up kicks to make sure that...
Was his last fight the Great Maynard fight?
It was.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people didn't like that fight. I watched that fight with the biggest smile on my face, and I enjoyed every second of it. I don't understand people that didn't like that
It appears
fight.
you don't like Great Maynard.
No, I like Great Maynard.
Oh, you had this big smile on your face.
Well, no, I was just watching the fight. Like
I see.
I've learned to separate the actual fighters because I know a lot of the fighters, and if I watched it like that, it would be kind of strange. I just watched it from an entertainment standpoint, and I was thoroughly entertained by Ryan Hall.
The reason I was doing that is because I was connecting the dots. One time, about a year ago, you told me Vladimir Klitschko retired. By the way,
Yeah,
you
I
thought
saw
the
that.
fight was going to be here, the rematch in Vegas, and it turns out he retired. You told me about a fight about a year and a half ago that you enjoyed, and you had a big smile on your face.
Dada and Kimbo. That had to have been Dada and Kimbo.
It wasn't that one. I won't say it, but I'll tell you during the commercial. And I'll tell you that's why.
Could it have
Oh,
been
I
Rory
know which
McDonald
one it was.
getting smoked?
Exactly, that was it.
Well, he
Yeah.
was pretty adamant
I
about it
know, I
yesterday.
know.
Yeah, and this is obvious. I watched the Rory McDonald Paul Daly fight. Also, I didn't like the matchmaking there. I don't know why they do that. So from a matchmaking standpoint, I've never been a matchmaker, and I wanted to ask you guys about this. When they put prospects versus prospects, and I guess those two guys aren't prospects anymore over in Bellator.
You got a matchmaker right here?
I do, and I'd love to ask
You
him.
never asked him?
I know his opinions, but his
Okay.
opinions are so all over the place.
Uh-huh.
I brought Bootsy here just to kind of listen to us a little bit because he knows more about MMA than anyone I've ever met in my entire life. And we
Thanks,
watch.
man.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
He meant it.
All
Yeah.
right. Game on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And including myself, not a joke. Do those drums in reverse. Dead serious. And what's funny about watching MMA with Bootsy, very nice, is we watch MMA from such different standpoints. Have you guys watched the Lebertard show? Poppy just is the fan. I watch it from a complete fan standpoint.
Yeah.
I wasn't joking when I said Kimbo versus Dada was one of my favorite fights. It really was. I think Dada died like 4 times during that fight, and I loved them all. Like, it was just really fun to watch. And he watches it from a different perspective. You guys can find common ground here in the sense that I am still trying to convince him to watch Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. He will not. He's taking a hard stance, just kind of like you are.
Yeah.
I will. You're saying I won't pay for it. He's just saying he won't watch it. And I can't understand.
I was this close to proving it to all of you because my mom's favorite band in the world is Gypsy Kings.
Okay.
And they're playing on August 26th at the Red Rock. So it's a nice location. It's her favorite band. And I haven't seen her in a while here in Vegas. She's undergoing some treatment. Nothing major, but still. And I was going to prove it to everyone by buying her and I 2 tickets, doing a tweet or a pic or an Instagram post right about when those 2 buffoons are walking into the ring, as if to prove to you all, have fun. You know, we're talking about 1 hour when the Gypsy Kings are done, or an hour and a half, and you all are fucking pissed about spending $99.99 and seeing either the same boring Mayweather blueprint or the world's biggest mismatch ever. You know,
or the world's biggest upset of all time.
that's not gonna happen. Stop it.
Or
That's not gonna happen. Stop it.
Or
And then somehow in the last, I guess the tour got me or whatever, so I'm willing to sit there I'll bring the 12-pack, the 18-pack, whatever you like. I'm not paying. I've been very open about that, but I'll contribute. Sit there and just maybe have my Frank Mir face and look or whatever, and I'll probably go to the bank and pull out $575 just to pick up a quick 100 to pay for that 18-pack and to pay for my mom's breakfast the next day. You know, I'll probably send her and Juliet to the concert or whatever. So I've graduated to that, but trust me, man, I'm this close to pulling back.
What got you there?
And just saying,
and why did you be a fraudulent?
Because I thought I was going to be joined. Like, let's all stand in unison, and I thought there was going to be other people whose arms hooked under mine, and it seems like everyone's going to watch it. So, I guess that got me into it. Like, you know,
what got me into it was social media. I want to be on social media as that's going.
Probably,
down.
Yeah.
I think. Tell me if I'm describing you correctly, but the reason you like Dada and Kimbo and McGregor and Mayweather. You're kind of an agent of chaos, aren't you?
100%.
You love just like crazy shit going on, right?
100%. I have a combat sports background. I've been watching UFC since UFC 1. I mean, I love it, and I love a good fight as much as everything else. But I went to Lion Fights this past weekend also, and the main fight was like a combined fight. The fighters, one guy had 400 fights. The other guy had he was 62-8. You don't see that in MMA. What an amazing fight, right? Two of the best Muay Thai guys out there. They were described as legends. I enjoyed the amateurs. I enjoyed that fight too, and I was able to watch it and go, okay, that's amazing, and I was able to see the difference. But I liked the guy that was fighting in front of his home crowd. His name was Steve in Boston. People are going crazy. He's fighting this other dude with a belly, and I was like, this is the best, and that's what I like. I stayed up that night right when I landed. I watched Ryzen all night a couple nights ago too.
When we were planning Junkie Gathering stuff, the ideas, especially for his event, were already crazy, but he would add things to like, all right, that's great. What if we lit the table on fire?
Yeah.
Like every idea I would give him, he would just up it to this crazy. That's why he's an agent of chaos.
Yeah, I like that. Sounds awesome. It's not a paying position.
You should be Chase, the agent of chaos, Kobrin.
Well, I'm good with that.
Well, I felt like I cut you off.
No,
was there anything you were going to say about McGregor and Mayweather?
Other than you're a fraudulent son and a fraudulent fight fan.
Okay.
I think I would have stopped pretty much right there.
Okay.
I don't understand it. I mean, if you don't have to pay for it, just watch it. What is there not to watch? I just don't understand.
I guess your invite did, put me over the top.
Good.
Like, all right. Like I said, I just been through like the last 6 Mayweather fights. I didn't even watch the Berto fight. I had been through it so much. I remember going in person and thinking maybe it'll be different in person. Maybe I'll soak up something that I'm missing on TV. The sweet science. But I knew I wasn't the only loony guy in there because even Mayweather fans, people with TMT hats, they walked out in the 9th, the 10th. Even they were like disgusted. They didn't go so far as to boo their guy, but they were disgusted that just what was a clear mismatch, and he was still moving, pivoting. Something, jab, pivoting, moving his head. Just nothing to say, I'm so much better than you, and I've proved it the last 9 rounds. Now let me just put something on there to try and finish, or to just give the fans a show, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
but
some offensive output or whatever.
But that's not what he does, and this will be the show. So, I mean, if you're going to skip
So you got to pick an 0-0 guy to finally let go?
It's not the 0-0 guy.
That's what he is. He's a professional boxer. He's 0-0.
It's boxing versus MMA in boxing. It's a loudmouth.
That's why I say if he goes 12 rounds with McGregor, that's a Conor win.
To me, that
Conor
should exist.
Even if there was a scoreboard that said 12 rounds to nothing, as soon as that bell rings, Conor should walk around with his hands up. Someone should pick him up like Rudy, because that's a win.
100%.
How in the hell is that guy going to let him last 12 rounds? That's ridiculous.
He shouldn't. And this is a lose-lose, I think, for anything other than an embarrassing knockout for Mayweather is a lose for him, in my opinion.
It'd be like Floyd lasting 25 minutes with Conor in the cage.
Well, here's what I had this conversation last night.
Happen.
What do you guys think happens if they just add leg kicks? No takedowns, no knees, no elbows. They just add leg kicks. Thank you. They just add leg kicks. How fast does Conor win that fight? Because I think he wins it incredibly quickly. Just one extra element changes that entire fight.
Well, it would force Floyd to fight differently, for sure.
Yeah.
What could he do? He couldn't do anything. It would be an absolute wash at that point.
I mean, going in, so now Floyd's training for him. I mean, I guess Floyd definitely steps on the gas. The longer the fight goes with leg kicks, is the worse for him.
And there's nothing he can do. Go ahead and check the leg kick. He's still
no, not like so much as far as that. Just as much as like, let's get these hands going. You know what I mean? And
it doesn't matter.
And let's engage.
You have to change the way he.
Oh, it definitely changes. It definitely changes things. Yeah.
And just to go on another point on the Agent of Chaos thing, just to illustrate that a little bit further, I actually offered to fight, and this was to a real promotion. I offered to set up the fight. I said, look, you want to sell some fights, right? You want to make this work. Japan, anything can happen in Japan. An octopus can fight like a bird, right? Mm-hmm. It's fine. So I said, I can be sold. I can get in shape. I do have a black belt in martial arts. I will fight Gabby Garcia. You've put her against an old wrestling lady, and you just put her against a couple of little tiny people. Like, let's recreate the tennis thing. Right?
Navratilova, I think, did it, or Billie Jean King.
Billie Jean King, right? Like, let's do that. I'm fully aware that I'm more than likely going to be taken down and lose. Mm-hmm. But for the entertainment of the people,
would you be throwing strikes?
I would hope. I would hope so. Yeah.
Oh wow!
I'm not going to try to submit her. That's for sure. But and by the way, Gabby, if you're out there, it is a real thing. But I really like you. I'm actually a fan. And I think what you're doing is awesome.
I'm not a fan of her one bit.
You're crazy. No. You're so crazy. You can't come to my house. You can come to my house. I don't get it.
Dude, I will honestly go to Gypsy Kings, honestly.
What don't
if
you
I'm
like?
disinvited, that's the only place I'd watch it.
You're not full. It was a fake disinvite. It was a fake disinvite.
Damn it.
Right.
Now I got to watch it. Gabby Garcia just, what was it, an eye poke this time?
Yeah, but I mean, it was an eye poke.
And then the last time, I think it was a grounded opponent. It was just like 3 nights ago.
Okay.
And like literally 3 weeks ago, I think it was a grounded opponent.
That was when she fought like the 150-pound.
And just the reaction, like, you know, I don't know.
She's.
I'm over
I don't
her
understand
too.
why are you over her and not over the people putting on the fights? She has done nothing wrong.
She's perfect for Japan. I have no problem with Ryzen booking her because I get it. Like you're right, the octopus versus the bird or whatever.
I'd watch that fight.
But staying up till 2 a.m. and getting through some of those other fights that just don't really matter to me. I mean, every card has like maybe 1 or 2 that I want to watch. And then that's it, you know. So you have to invest about 5 hours in Ryzen, and then you get that. I mean,
5 awesome hours. Awesome hours. I love it. I love Ryzen. I love Bellator. I love the UFC, but I love them for all different reasons.
You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. We'll be right back after this break. We have Chase Kobrin from Tough Prince back in the saddle.
They are the stretch marks on the underbelly of the MMA community. But hey, stretch marks are the new tats. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
We're now joined on the hotline by Aljamain Sterling. You can follow him on Twitter at @funkmaster_UFC. And Aljamain is coming off a win over Renan Barão. He's the former bantamweight champion in the UFC. This was a unanimous decision in favor of Aljamain Sterling, who now goes to 14-2. And the fight also took place at 140 pounds, but not because of Sterling, because of Barão. But I believe it counts towards Sterling's equity and on his resume at 135 pounds. So it's a huge, huge win for him. What's up, Aljo? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right, welcome back to MMA Junkie Radio. You're on with George and Goes, and we also have Chase Kobrin from Tough Prince. We're excited to have you on, and congrats on your win this past Saturday.
Thank you. That was a big one. I think I am now the official king of the 140-pound division.
You are. Aljo, that night when you were holding court with the press, you were really, really animated. It seemed like you wanted to get a lot of things off your chest. So this victory obviously felt good for you physically because you outdueled the former champion. But talk about mentally and psychologically how big this win was for you and for your career.
It was huge. I think it was everything that I've been trying to accomplish 3-4 fights ago. Coming up with a big win over Johnny Eduardo, doing the whole free agency thing, being that guy in that limelight, and doing the whole promotion thing with Eric B. leading up to the Caraway fight, and then just not delivering anywhere close to my true capabilities. That big letdowns, and I just felt like the media and even some like close friends, or I can't even call them close friends. I guess some friends that I thought really did believe in me. They start to doubt me, and it kind of lets you know where you really stand in people's minds, and it was all a learning process, and I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about people and how this world works, and yeah, man, it was huge for everything, psychologically, and definitely huge for my career.
So, if you can be a little bit more explicit, basically what you're describing, I guess, is what MMA fans, or actually sports fans, say. People jumped off the bandwagon because you had a couple losses, but then you came back with some wins. You found out who your true friends were. But what's an example of someone no longer having your back, or you not feeling the love just because you dropped a couple fights? Does it mean like you lost friends on Twitter, or your casual friends stopped asking you for tickets, or like, I guess, how did you feel it, so that we can relate?
Well, I tell you what, the good things that you normally get with being an undefeated fighter, you kind of lose those perks,
I see.
And that's why I'm a huge believer in capitalizing while the iron is hot. And it's mainly for this specific reason. I've seen it happen to other people, and I knew at some point it would eventually happen to me. I didn't think it would happen so soon, but yeah, little things like that, stuff with sponsors, and even like clubs or bars or little, not things that will make or break you in life, but definitely things that are always going to be nice to have, those perks, obviously.
Right.
It's kind of like if those guys who are the champion one day, they have pretty much the world at their feet, and as soon as they lose, all those stuff kind of just suddenly just stop. It's kind of a weird thing to know how the world just works like that. That's just how it is. Like you're hot 1 minute, and the next thing you know, you're not, and those things just stop coming in.
Aljamain Sterling, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio, coming off a big win over Renan Barão at UFC 214. Goes. What do you have for Aljo?
Aljamain, that was a very dominant win. How close was the way you envisioned the fight going in to how it actually played out?
It was very close to the way I envisioned it. The only thing that I think I gave Barão a little bit more credit than I played him up a little bit higher in my mind in terms of how the fight would actually play out physically. So I thought I was actually going to come out of that fight a lot more bruised up, probably a couple cuts on my face maybe, and banged up, maybe a trip to the hospital. I was prepared mentally for worst case scenario, best case scenario. But I really did think I was going to get him out of there in the second round, and I almost had him. I let him off the ropes a couple times in that third round. I felt my gas tank drop. You know, it might not have looked like it to people who actually had this conversation with my cousin and my brother. They thought I could have knocked him out in the third round, which I really could have. I just told them, like, man, there was points where I just felt like my arm just felt so heavy, and I needed to just take a step back, regroup, and then go back after him again. So that's a very dominant one. I'm super happy. Former champion. I know some people were trying to discredit the win by saying, "Oh, he's not the same since USADA." I'm like, dude, I don't know what fights of his you've been watching, but he's the same fighter. He was beating Jeremy Stevens, not killed him, but definitely owned the first round. Was beating him halfway through the second round until Jeremy hit him with a huge bomb, which he does with everybody. And then Brow was just a little bit too small at that point. So I still think he's a killer. People just want to just harp on hard work and whatever, man. People are just going to hate, you know. Like Montana says, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. So it is what it is.
For the longest time, you've been this guy that we, a prospect, you know, with all this potential. Just wait, he's going to come around. This fight, though, do you feel like now when you're in backstage amongst all the other fighters, have you made that switch now to that veteran status? Do you feel that in the back?
You just broke up.
Oh, you didn't hear the question?
No, not all, but you broke up.
So we always tapped you as this prospect guy, right? Look out for Aljamain Sterling, but we feel like maybe this fight might have been the one where it's turned you into that veteran, that savvy veteran now. Do you feel that status when you're backstage amongst all the other fighters?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think I bring a different energy when I'm in that workout room with all the other fighters. And I've been told that multiple times by different camps and stuff when they get to see us train and how we do things. And just my whole energy just going into fight week is just different. The last few fights, I've had just a different attitude, different mindset. And it's really just the mindset that I think to myself, and I shy away from telling people. I kind of just say it out loud now, and I think that's what makes me a little bit different, a little bit meaner now, and it's just fuck everybody else. This is my time, and I'm gonna get what I want. I put the work in, and I deserve this. Why should they get this over me? Why can I not be the guy out there to get his hand raised? And that's just the way I ultimately look at it now, and I think when you go out there with that I don't give a fuck attitude, it just makes everything just a lot better. You flow a lot easier, and you don't care about what everybody else is saying about you. And that's like the ultimate thing that has been harping on me and kind of bringing me down, is just a whole lot of like extra baggage you just don't need. At the end of the day, people's opinions don't matter when you step inside that octagon. So I learned that, and it was a huge. Those fights, those losses are huge learning lessons for me. Fights, whatever. And I'm not going to sit here and keep talking about that, but I think they were huge for my career and my mental and helping me grow as a person.
One of the jumps in your career that I feel like should probably happen here. I mean, this was a big win over a former champion. Can you envision yourself? I don't know if it'd be you or your manager who says it, but I have to believe that at some point a call is made where you say, "Don't even call me unless this is main card, dog."
Honestly, my next fight better be on the goddamn main card. I'm not even kidding at this point. This is like beyond ridiculous if you ask me. But I mean, this was a blockbuster card on paper, so I get that. But I'm like, wow, you guys got Barao, former world champ, on the undercard. It's kind of crazy, but I think I deserve my fair shake at this point. I think I have a big enough name now. I'm 8 fights into my UFC career. So why not? Let's start making some real money, man. I'm in the sport to change my life. I'm in the sport to change my parents' lives, and that's the loved ones around me. So that's really what I care about. And I can't do that if they keep putting me on these prelims. You kind of just gotta take what you're given in life and make what you can make out of it, and do the best that you can. And I'm just learning, man. Life's a crazy thing, and the more time you spend with people, you start to see people who they truly are and how they handle things and who's out there for you. And right now, I'm out here for myself and for the people around me.
When you re-signed with the UFC, was it a 4-fight deal? Because if it is, you're a free agent again, or was it longer?
Dude, these guys signed me to an 8-fight deal. I was so pissed. I'm still in this contract, and I need a new contract.
Okay.
Yeah. Always right. Oh.
What happened? Like that wasn't your choice. Did you want 4 fights, 6 fights? I mean, you're saying these guys signed, but obviously you're a grown man. You signed too. What happened there?
There was it was a weird period, man. That whole time frame, that whole free agency thing was just very, very odd, and things got a little personal, and things started going the wrong way. And I was trying not to make it go that route, I guess, and to just, for argument's sake, and to make everything just be at ease. I guess I kind of just took it because it was kind of almost like a take it or leave it kind of thing. Thank you, buddy.
Gotcha.
And so it was kind of I was just in a weird spot. I was really at that point. I really felt like my back was against the wall, and I really had no other options. And I think I just learned, like, I see all these other guys, they re-sign contracts all the time. So I'm like, man, you know what? I just got to go out there, win, beat some good guys, and I should be able to get a new contract based on the increased popularity. So I think it makes sense. Why not? So at this point, why should I have to fight out 4 more fights at that rate where they're going to be making more money? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
You know, you did do 4 fights in, like, 14 months. Do you like that pace?
I do. And the main reason I did that was to finish up the contract as soon as possible.
Okay.
I was like, I want to bang this out as fast as I can. I'm on par to eventually fight one more time. I'm looking to fight in December.
Yeah.
And that'll be my 4th fight for you. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I'm obviously not you nor the UFC, but I think 6 sounds fair. Maybe one more. Maybe one more here before we end the year, especially Madison Square Garden. I imagine has to be appealing, and then something in 2018 early on. You've shown a commitment to the UFC to fight early, but here's the other thing: Aljo's up there, man. So Dillashaw and Garbrandt are going to do this. Cruz says he's only waiting for them. He doesn't want to engage with Rivera. So Sterling Rivera is what makes the most sense after that. So these are like he's a high-ranked contender. Now his negotiating power is going to be a little better. And I think the UFC has to hopefully understand this guy took one for the team. He signed an 8-fight contract. He's been busy. He's been winning. He's higher ranked. At 6 fights, let's talk, which would be 6 months away. What do you think?
I mean, 6 fights. I mean, I guess I do understand what you're saying, but I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think the numbers add up, in my personal opinion. But I would like to fight Jimmy. I called him out after the last fight. I actually want the rematch with Caraway, but that guy still needs to get a slapping that he really does deserve. And he dodged the bullet with the one fight we had, and I would like to right the ship on that one. I issued him a gentleman's challenge this time without having to poke the bear and actually insult him to actually take a fight, you know?
Right.
As you see, he hasn't fought since we fought. But, yeah, Jimmy Rivera makes sense. I think he's 5-0 right now. And he's been another guy who was talking a hell of a lot of shit to me on the regional circuit. And even while we were in the UFC, when I was the one who was 4-0, he was calling me out, and I said it didn't make any sense. I lost my first fight to Caraway. And then he starts saying he wasn't interested in fighting me when he was 3-0. So the time's right. So the stakes are high, and let's see whoever wins gets the next title shot.
I know you're running short on time, but our guest co-host for the day has this little game he wants to play with you, so I'll let him take it from here. Go ahead, Chase Kobrin. What do you got for Aljamain Sterling?
Little game.
Big game?
Yeah,
fun game?
Just a game.
Okay,
just a game.
Sorry.
Aljo, what's up, man? Thank you for taking the time. I got a quick word association game for you. I wasn't going to ask any questions. This is how I like to enjoy MMA. Here we go. So here are the rules. Word association. It's really not just words. It's a phrase sometimes. The answers are funk or turkey. Okay?
Funk or turkey?
Funk or turkey. If you like what I'm saying,
okay.
Funky, man. You know what I'm saying?
All
and
right.
if you don't, turkey.
Turkey. All right.
Jive turkey. Very nice. Thank you. All right. So here we go. We'll start off nice and easy. We'll start off easy. Actual funk music.
Funk.
Funky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funky.
Brian Caraway.
Turkey.
Total turkey. Donald Trump's hair.
Oh, that's a turkey.
Total turkey. Medical marijuana for athletes.
That's funky.
That's funky. That is funky.
He even changed the way he said it.
There's
like,
some.
He's really funky.
He's Jamaican, you know. He's East Coast brother. Yeah, I kind of need the answer there.
Jimmy Rivera.
Turkey.
Floyd Mayweather.
He's a funk turk.
He's a funky turkey.
He's funky.
Funky
He's
turkey.
a funky turkey. All right. John Jones as a jiu-jitsu blue belt.
That is a turkey right there, if I've ever seen one.
That is pretty turkey. All right. Executing the boring but effective game plan.
Oh, is that a shot at Willie?
I don't know.
Executing it, I'm going to go with turkey on that one.
Turkey. Interesting. It wasn't a shot at Woodley. But you said it. I got a couple more. All right. A Kid in Play reboot.
He's in his 20s. I don't think he knows who Kid in Play.
Oh, he's
wow.
got the
he
hair.
knows.
No,
he
knows.
knows.
Look at his hair.
Are you kidding me?
All right.
George, you deserve to be slapped next time you see
Am I a turkey now?
Now you're a turkey.
Little turkey. That's so funky. All right, last one. Here we go.
Because we had Kevin Lee in here, and we asked him if he saw the new edition special. He goes, "Who's that?" So I thought, okay,
well, Kevin deserves to be
90s kids.
Yeah, he's younger than me.
All right.
And I don't have any more, so I am the current turkey.
Yeah,
that was
there
it.
you go.
I was bouncing around. So thank
right.
you for playing funky or turkey.
Yeah. And by the way, if the UFC meets the demands or makes you happy, you versus Rivera at Madison Square Garden, that's the fight?
I think that's the fight to make. I think that's the right fight. You know,
I'm in.
I'm not looking to go backwards in my career.
I'm in, and it's good backup for Garbrandt and Dillashaw, who I heard is also going to be on the card. That way, in case someone gets hurt, of course we don't want that, but if someone does, you got a high-ranking bantamweight ready to step in. So make it happen, UFC.
Yeah, man, 100%.
Aljo, thanks for the time. Enjoy the rest of the time you have in Cali. I hope you sell that house in Phoenix. I've been seeing that commercial. And thank you very much for joining us here on MMA Junkie Radio.
Thanks for having me. Oh, yeah, I got another house in Texas, Austin, Texas. So if anybody's interested, hit me up.
Very cool. There you go. Follow him, folks, on Twitter at @funkmaster_UFC. Thanks, sir, for the time.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, folks, we're going to take a break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Chase Kobrin in the house.
Funky. Is it happening right now?
I'm going to do a read first, and then we'll bring you in.
This is terrible.
Let's see. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B-A, start. You told me that code would get rid of them. Yeah, well, they're still here. Okay, but now they know I tried to kill them. Hold on, Mom. Here George and goes.
August is Fantasy Football Draft Month, and we want to spotlight your Fantasy Football League on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. Be part of our daily league spotlight by telling us what makes your league so special. We'll shout out your league across the nation and bring one of your participants as a guest on the air. The SiriusXM Fantasy Football League spotlight, tweet at SiriusXM Fantasy or email fantasysportsradio@SiriusXM.com. Do it now. Tweet at SiriusXM Fantasy or email fantasysports@SiriusXM.com. All right, folks, as you can tell, we're playing the music. We're just going to cruise into the top of the hour with a sports update and another quick break. We'll come back with phone calls. Marco's already on deck. He'll lead things off. There's somebody else from the 415 area code. They're going to be batting in the second spot. But to leave you, we have got Chase Kobrin here, who's going to drop some lyrics, and his part's coming up soon. So we're just going to kind of hang back, enjoy this song, and then let him do his thing.
You got to tell me when to come in.
I'll let you know, yeah.
All right.
Bump it up a little, Danny.
Is that the first lyric right there?
Right there. I'll go like that.
All right. Got a channel this. What a jerk.
He looks so serious on the broadcast.
What'd you expect us to do? Stand like this? Let us know when he's done.
When do I start?
We can't wait for the disaster.
It's all right.
Can you hear him?
No, I mean he looks serious.
Can you hear Snoopy's going?
Yeah.
Starting to warm up the lyrics.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
I've heard this song, but I've never heard it with the rap.
It's coming.
But it's about to be fire. Hot fire. All right. Tone tan, fit and ready. Doing up cause it's getting heavy. Wild, wild west, on the coast. These are the girls that I love most. I mean the ones, she's the one. Kiss her, touch her, squeeze her buns. They're the freak, she drives a Jeep. And I don't, no. I'm okay, I won't play. I love the Bay, just like LA. Venice Beach and the Palm Springs. Summertime is everything. Homeboys banging out, all that ass hanging out. Bikinis, tankinis, mantinis, no weenies. Just a king and a queenie, cat and my lady, yeah. They're looking up something, baby, I'm all up on it. Someone get me a blunt. Is that? I've never heard it.
That was good. For never hearing it, that was good.
I've never heard it. I'm sorry.
Follow him on Twitter @ToughPrince. That's Chase Kobrin. He's sticking around for another hour.
I think he's our Katy Perry champion right now, right?
I feel like I am.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've only had 2 participants, but
yeah,
right? Who was the other one?
Juan Lee.
Juan Lee, yeah.
I was obviously.
You outdid Juan Lee from
sure.
Rosemead.
For sure.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you guys. You throw on a Tupac
I don't know
song,
if you've
though.
never heard it before, though, because that sounded pretty good.
I got ears. I've never heard the rap part of it. I know the song.
Didn't he kind of look like a creepy guy coming out of a bush?
That's what I was going with. Thank you. I was feeling it, guys. I was feeling it. Thank
Martinis,
you for that.
bikini.
No weenies.
No weenies, just the king and his queenie. And all right, we are going to take this sports update here. Quick break prior to that, and we'll be back with phone calls. I promise. Phone calls. And then we're also going to talk some Muay Thai on this show because Chase Kobrin and Bootsy Harris were back east for Lion Fight 37, headlined by Joe Nadawat, who was a guest of ours last week. He retained his belt, 154 pounds, super welterweight, if I'm not mistaken. And our other guest, Phil Stanisiak, dropped his fight, unfortunately. But either way, those guys are solid. Solid fights that they do out there. So we'll be right back, folks. Stay close.
Even if there were 40 more, I wouldn't sleep a minute.
I didn't want to cut him. I just understood the concept.
All right, here we go. It's the second hour of the MMAjunkie Radio show. Chase Kobrin came back for round 2. Yep, the same guy that wanted to cut Tyron Woodley yesterday.
Oh, come on.
I heard he wanted him under arrest, too, from other people.
I think so, yeah.
Scenarios.
And he brought his partner in crime, Bootsy Harris. We've known Bootsy for a long time here in Las Vegas. Also an MMA industry vet. What's up, Bootsy? Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Just ready to talk turkey sang.
Yep, let's do it. I do want to touch on this bit of news here because we are a Vegas-based show, and so the gambling talk's always out there. But the odds have already come out on St. Pierre and Bisping. Actually, they came out, I think, when they initially had the the press conference, and then it went away. So it could be that these odds are actually 6 months old. But it says St. Pierre's minus 155. And Michael Bisping's plus 125. So the odds makers are siding with George St. Pierre, who's moving up a weight class and hasn't fought in 4 years. Because by the time this fight happens, I think it'll be to the month, not to the day, around the 4-year mark. And yet he's going to be favored over the world champion, Michael Bisping. So I'm sure some of it has to do with that popularity of GSP. Same way Conor McGregor, people are just hand over fist. Oh, he's Conor McGregor. But at the same time, you got to give the odds makers credit. They watch fights and they match the skill sets and then figure it out from there. Anyhow, what are your thoughts on that? We'll start off with you, Bootsy. What do you think of these odds?
Accurate? Well, they're opening odds, so I don't put much stock in them. They're trying to look at who's probably going to bet which way, the public,
right?
The smarts. So they're just trying to set it to where they think they won't lose too much money in either direction. I mean, the number one reason they would do that is because Bisping's had trouble in the past with people who have takedowns. George St. Pierre has some of the best takedowns in the world, despite size, because he knows angles, he knows timing.
Yeah.
So I would think that's the reason. I mean, they didn't set Bisping at like -3 or plus 300. So it's not really a slight to him. It's just going, there's going to be a lot of Canadian money coming in. There's going to be a lot of old school MMA money coming in. So we need to set it properly.
Yeah, get that even take is what the house wants, and then they'll take home the juice. What do you think?
And it is a different weight class too, right?
Yeah, 185.
So I don't know. I think that's the big wild card here. The wild card of him moving up a weight class after taking off a bunch of time. We saw what happened when Conor moved up a couple weight classes. It was a different guy, at least his gas tank, right? So I'm actually shocked that they're as close as they are. I would have expected, but I'm not a bettor, I would have expected George St. Pierre to be a bigger favorite.
Did you call him the Minister of Chaos?
No, he's the
agent.
Yeah, he's an agent
of chaos.
I think his agents don't get paid.
Well, I was going to say, I thought anybody involved with chaos would gamble. You don't gamble at all?
I don't gamble at all, mostly because I'm poor. No.
Well, you're definitely not that.
Well, no, I don't have a lot of money. I mean, here's the thing. I like to have control over a certain extent of what's happening in my life, especially with my money. I've got 2 kids now. I don't think it's responsible for me to do that.
What if you win, though?
But if I win, or if I lose, I could chase it and win the next time. No, I'm not a gambler. But I am surprised. I do follow the odds.
It really adds to the experience. As much as you're loving Ryzen and all these other things, obviously I'm not trying to create a vice for you.
Yeah, no worries.
But we do these $20 parlays that sometimes just multiply, especially with all you guys in the office. A little bit of input, it can be fun.
Yeah, it adds to the experience, but so does like.
But you know, all of a sudden that last fight becomes like $1,000 fight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Have like a tough.
And if you lose,
every week.
yeah, and if you lose, oh yeah, here it is
with all your boys.
Here, I got it.
Right.
So there's you two, and then there's Zauer, right?
Yes.
Who else? Who else is like into it every fight?
The whole office.
How many?
The whole office.
Just give me 2 more names.
Lorenzo and Peter.
Lorenzo and Peter. All right. So each one of you
And Corey.
makes a pick. Well, with 16 parlay, now we're getting.
I don't know, man. I'm not trying to get
a
another
5-team
advice, but go
parlay.
ahead.
Sorry, 5-fight parlay. Each guy $2. Right. It's a $10 parlay.
Right.
Whoever wins next week doesn't have to pay, but the losers contribute. So the most you can get waxed for is $10. Like, let's say they went 4-1, you lose, haha. They're all laughing at you. You know, we would have won this, and we could be getting lap dances now if not for you. Blah blah blah, and then you pay 10. It could be fun that way.
We did it once, didn't we? Didn't we actually do that? We tried to get that going.
Oh, I tried to get that going, but you guys are terrible at keeping consistent, so
yeah.
I just gave up on it. Also, instead of doing that, we could just like go out to lunch one day and eat lunch, which would be good.
And I'd prefer that.
I would enjoy that.
I'd prefer eating lunch.
$2 lunches?
No, $10 lunches.
Oh, $10 lunches.
$2 lunches.
Okay.
No. We used to have a food truck that came by our shop all the time, and I used to have $2 lunches.
The Fuku Burger?
No, it was Alex's food truck, and we ended up, just to give you a little insight of who I am, I ended up trading design work for free food.
Hey, they got a little lazy there on the food truck name, didn't they?
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
It's out of grammar, like Alex food truck, not Alex's, or Big Lex.
Who do you think gets his hand raised at the end of the night?
I was thinking about this, and I think Michael Bisping.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's bigger. I think he's going to be significantly stronger, despite the physique that I know George is going to walk in there with. I think. George, even on his way out, he struggled with those big, strong guys, and Bisping's bigger and I think stronger than Johnny Hendricks. And I think you're going to see a guy that's maybe not the same, maybe doesn't have the same fire. He's been out 4 years. He's probably more healthy, but I think Bisping is going to eke out a decision.
What do you think?
George is going to win it. Decision. It'll be boring. I will be texting the whole time, not paying attention.
Ghost, what do you think of the odds and the fight? Who do you lean towards early on?
I mean, the odds are just because...
And it's set for Madison Square Garden, by the way. This being confirmed. My tweet from Friday that it would be George St. Pierre in Madison Square Garden. But, yeah.
I think it's the odds are set that way because of those 3 letters, GSP. I mean, they carry a lot of weight. I could see GSP taking them down, but 5 rounds because he ain't going to finish them. He's got to do it 5 rounds over and over. That's a tough bill. Like Chase said, that's a lot bigger dude, harder hitter. And you add in the layoff.
If
the layoff wasn't there, I'd say
obviously
all day GSP. But with the layoff,
yeah,
I would say, put the gun to my head, I might have to go Bisping.
Okay. All right. Let's take some calls. 866-522-2846, and then we'll talk Lion Fight.
Cool.
All right. Marco from Waco. What's up, man? How you doing?
Marco from Waco. ¿Qué pasa, vatos? And the agent of chaos.
Yeah.
Chase.
Yeah.
¿Qué pasó,
vato?
vato?
Stop with that now, man. Yeah. Hey, big shout out to Angelo Reyes. He did an interview with me and the guys on AM Radio yesterday. And I'll throw a couple of nuggets there. One, we know that Frank Mir already, got his release. He's talking to Bellator, besides other organizations. And I also said that Frank might take a boxing match and he might call out Tyson Fury. So, make that what you may, but that would be an interesting fight, Frank Mir versus Tyson Fury.
Well, that's kind of the in vogue thing to do. Stipe Miocic tweeted out to Anthony Joshua. He said, your calendar just got freed up by Klitschko's retirement. Let's do this. # baddest man in the world. So we're seeing a lot of that attempted crossover. And again, Mir's different from Stipe because Stipe would have to put everything on hold, and obviously the UFC gets involved. Mir's a complete free agent, so I suggest if he's going to do it, maybe do it before he comes back to MMA. In fact, I believe Mir also has said that to honor the actual suspension with USADA, and I guess maybe him and the UFC kind of brokered out of respect, he won't fight until when it would have been up anyway, which is the first quarter of next year. So yeah, this might be the time to get in there and box with somebody, but we'll see.
Yeah, hey, Stipe should not be going to boxing. He should call those boxers into the octagon, because then it's a real fight. Plus,
but that's just not going to happen, and the bigger money is going to happen in boxing, in my opinion.
I disagree. If you promote it right, then make it money can happen on the UFC.
So so what you're saying is, if they were fighting in an octagon, Conor and Floyd would be making even more bank. Get out of here, Marco. Come on.
Back to Waco.
Wow.
That's why it's happening in boxing. That's where the bigger money's at.
Sergio Pettis and Brandon Moreno, man. I'm excited for this fight, Puerto Rico versus Mexico.
That's a good
One
angle.
of these guys is one of the guys is going to become a true contender. I'm riding with Sergio Pettis because it's the bigger, the non-commodity. But I'm not going to sleep on Brandon Moreno. I think these guys are going to fight several times in their career, and one of them is going to be for a title in the future because they're both 23 and they're hot prospects. We're going to leave you guys, catch you guys next week. Enjoy the fights.
See you, buddy. You know, that fight's sneaking up on us, and I believe the winner gets the next shot at the winner of Borg and Johnson.
And I think they probably should.
Yeah. So, big fight. We'll call it a #1 contender fight. I saw Benavidez the other day at Dana White Contender Series 4. He looks like he's still out of the equation until about 2018, but he is saying that everything is on track, and when he was walking, he seemed to be doing well. So, so anyway, back to this fight. It is the main event this weekend. Quick thoughts? Have you turned in your staff pick? Or?
I have, and I feel like Sergio Pettis is fighting an uphill battle. Because, for one, he's fighting on his home turf. He's going to attack a lot, but I feel like for every 1-2, Brandon Moreno just being as wild as he can be and pushing that pace, getting that crowd behind him, I really feel like it's an uphill battle for Sergio Pettis. I took Brandon Moreno.
Brandon Moreno.
I'm taking Brandon Moreno as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is I'm not sold on Pettis, and it's not really a slight to him. I just haven't seen everything put together yet. And so until then, I have a hard time because I do kind of the betting mindset thing where I go, I just don't know that I could put money down on him yet.
Right.
So I think, unfortunately, it's more just going against Pettis, and it's really not a slight to his skill set. It's just that I haven't seen it all put together yet.
I went with Brandon Moreno as well on my staff picks. I just think that he's firing on all cylinders. He keeps getting better, and Pettis, he's getting
better too.
He is. Pettis, what happened was he came in with a lot of hype. You know, I mean, we found out about him as a teenager, and then you have a brother who's a world champion, and I think, if I had to guess, he probably thought it was going to be an easier road than it was, and it turned out to be not that way. But he's refocused since then.
And I think he didn't have his own style yet, which is kind of the thing I'm waiting for. Is he was trying to be his brother a bit, and he wasn't trying to do a carbon copy, but he was trying to fill that legacy essentially. And now I think, hopefully, at this point, he's starting to kind of find his own rhythm and not try to be someone else. Which
he also said he was in Mexico 2 weeks early. They're usually a week early. He went out an extra week. And I'm not sure that's enough, but here's what I'm getting at. Kane went out 2 weeks early, but Fabricio went out 6 weeks early. And Kane is also a heavyweight, and Sergio doesn't look like the type of athlete that gets too out of shape, I guess, like some of the heavyweights do. Sergio also trained at Albuquerque, which is 5,500. Mexico City is 7,800. And before anybody says Moreno's going to have the advantage there, Moreno's in Tijuana, and that's right across from San Diego, where it's pretty much sea level. So hopefully he got out there as well. Not, but throw in air pollution, nutrition, water. There's a lot of concerns other than just the altitude. So hopefully everyone got out there early. Yeah, is my point.
Sergio went out there early for promotion. So I'm sure while he was out there, he said, "Let me get a run in and see what this is like, or let me get some training." And so I think I'll have a better mindset than what happened with Kane.
Yeah, see, I think Sergio also went out there to get there a little early. Mexico specifically, drinking the water early can help with the weight cut. So I think that's probably what he's going to do. He's just going to load up on water, cut all that weight, almost die, and then go ahead and weigh in.
Lose an intestine. All right, Muna in San Francisco's up next. What's up, Muna?
Hey, how's it going, gentlemen?
Good. How you doing?
Good, good. Since Marco's ahead of me, I'm a nice guy. I'm not going to talk shit, but hey, Marco, there's a Facebook community where instead of calling every show every day and rehashing your takes, why don't you just join the Facebook Junkie community? Make some posts. That way it's better for us to understand what you're saying, and we don't have to hear you on the phone every day. So that's just some advice. I'm just trying to be nice.
Caller drama. I love it.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, man. Hey, Muna, thank you, by the way. Thank you. Muna helped out my wife. He donated a little money to her classroom, which was infested by rats.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All of her books got eaten by rats.
Really?
Well, what a shame.
Holy shoot.
Yeah, but thank you, Muna. Appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure, man. Let us know if we can do more. Hopefully,
how can we do more?
Fundraising's going well.
What did that take place on?
Well, no,
Facebook,
they were unrelated. Like right now, she's there cleaning up rat poop and all the stuff, and the school is actually replacing all of that stuff.
Oh, I see.
But she was buying, I think, Kindles or not Kindles, but iPads for her classroom, and Muna donated to it. So thank you.
Oh,
how dope is that though? As a kid, if you walk in and go, guess what? We don't have to do them reports today. Books got eaten by rats. Wouldn't you be like, woohoo?
Yeah.
Team rat.
Yeah, Team Rat for sure.
Muna?
Hey, my pleasure, Chase. Anytime. Two quick things. Shout out to Gabe Killian. Appreciate the parlay. For those who don't know, he actually put out another parlay for the fights for this weekend. So,
do you know it off the top of your head?
Works or not? It's Rashad, who's an underdog, Grasso, and there's a British guy who's an underdog. May have been Craig. I can't remember the last guy, but
I think it's Grasso, Evans, Ortiz, and then I think he has another
Ortiz,
one, Scott Perez. Scott and Perez.
That's the Irish guy, huh? Ortiz that Muna was thinking about?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, which is solid, though. I mean, Rashad being an underdog, he hasn't looked good, but I think it's worth a play. So, lastly, for Tyron Woodley versus Maya, I understand the brushback with the fight. The way I would compare it is we all watch NFL, and there are some games where, the other team probably lost a quarterback. It's a low-scoring game, not much offense. The team that's up, they know that, hey, they can throw the ball, but you know what? I'm just going to run the ball, run the clock, because I know the other team's got nothing for me. We end up watching it. We don't bitch that much because, hey, it's football. We move on to the next game, and that's kind of the way I look at Maya versus Woodley, where it wasn't exciting. Willie was up. He probably could have done more, but you know what? As a champ, there's so much pressure to maintain a champ where it's better to play it safe and, take the consequences and still be the champ than take a risk, lose it, and who knows if you ever get another rematch again. So that's my 2 cents. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, see you, Muna.
And I understand that, but here's the thing. When the clock starts to get run out, you switch to red zone. You switch to another game, and that's the problem.
Well, it's not only that, but you're being asked to pay money per event. Like, I would never pay for a Woodley fight at this point because I've seen it 3 times. One time I go, well, that sucked, but maybe something's wrong. This is 3 times now, probably 5 out of the last 7 times where he's thrown less than 70 or landed less than 70 strikes in a fight where he is standing pretty much the whole time. Why would I pay for that? And it is what it is. If he wants to keep the belt and be the champ, that's fine, but I'm not going to watch him unless he's on free TV at this point.
Right. He's also on a campaign that he might already be the greatest of all time at the welterweight division, and to not expect a pushback from fans after a performance like that, it's just not realistic. All right, let's continue here with Hal from Chicago. What's up, Hal?
Hi, guys. Now, Chase, think about this very carefully before you answer.
Nope.
Because I am a mandated reporter.
Okay.
Okay, so I have to report any suspicions of child abuse. Now, if you want DC cut for crying, what in God's name do you do to your kids when they shed a tear?
Okay, I don't head kick them. That's for sure.
Okay.
I don't concuss them.
All right.
Which I do believe played a role in Cormier, coming to and being emotional, right? Mm-hmm. So that does actually happen. I just give them a stern talking to usually, or I put them in a corner, and I wouldn't try to do that with Cormier or any other athlete. But I think the crying thing I think is completely overblown. Actually, I'm irritated when people even bring it up. It's like these guys are.
Oh, the interview?
No, the interview. No, just crying when they try to just emasculate someone. This athlete.
The crying.
Yeah, the crying itself. They're emasculating this athlete that could kill you, right? And he just worked 4 or 5 months for this big moment. And in this case, a guy that I think is such a polar opposite of Cormier, a guy that he really wanted to beat more than just winning the actual fight. He lost. He failed. That happens. Crying is a normal reaction. But I also do think that the concussion played a role there.
Well, not only that,
I see.
He woke up not realizing he lost, so then that's all hitting him suddenly. It's not like he was feeling himself losing and then suddenly he's out. He wakes up, he goes, why would you stop the fight? They say, oh, you got obliterated. That's got to be tough, again, with all the stuff you just said, where he's fighting a person he sees as a real-life villain, and he's supposed to be the superhero, and he lost.
He also cried, I believe, in the post-fight press conference of their first fight. And he wasn't finished there, but he's just an emotional guy.
Absolutely.
And I can see that.
And I thought that sucked, too, that people were coming after him like that.
I saw it as he's a real person there. It's nice to see sometimes because you get a lot of these guys that are either canned responses or seem kind of disconnected from reality because you have to be, in a way, when you're fighting and you're getting in there with another dangerous person. But to see an actual human being have a human reaction that I would hope most people can relate to, I thought was, I'm not sitting there cheering because he is showing emotion, but at the same time, I'm not going to dog him. I got a guy that was 4-6 yesterday talking shit about Cormier and talking about you got to be a real champion and a real man, and I'm looking at a guy who has lost so much he should probably just stop fighting, and he's shitting on a guy who's 19-2 and can only not beat one particular amazing athlete.
Right.
And there's just a lot, and it's all because he cried. It wasn't because of the loss; it's because he cried, and that to me is madness.
Yeah, I don't get it. This is true. I actually cried at an Ink Master episode yesterday.
Did you?
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think those emotions are about as raw as you can get, and I'm okay with the press conference. They've had time to, think things out. The one that I don't like is when they go through the curtain, kind of how they caught Jose Aldo in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
The fighters put so much of their personal life out there that I think they deserve to have at least 5 to 10 minutes after the fight to just be them and not have to worry about the entire world watching what happens in the cage. Yeah, you got, everybody's going to see it. Give them a little moment, man, where you don't have to see every second of let that guy cry and do whatever he needs to do with his family.
Yeah. Hal?
Oh, so you were supporting DC Chase?
Yeah, 100%. I'm a crier. Oh. Like I wasn't even kidding when I.
That's why you supported him.
Supported
him? Criers working together.
Well, I like criers. I like people that hear. I like authenticity, and that's the reason I don't like John Jones, because I don't. And whatever John Jones is putting out, I mean, it's cool, it's interesting, whatever. It's it's interesting, but I like authenticity. I never feel like he's being authentic. I got into an argument. I think it was with you, Hal, yesterday about John Jones, and you brought up Mike Tyson being a terrible guy, and why do you root for him? And I said I can't ever root for John Jones. The difference is, and I said this online, is that Mike Tyson was being authentic in his insanity. And whatever John Jones wants to be authentic in, do that. I'll be able to understand that, and I'll either root for it or not. But I won't hold it against him the way I currently do, where he's nice guy, he's Jesus guy, he's family guy, he's dick pill cheat guy, he's USADA guy, he's hiding under cage guy, he's Daniel Cormier, you're a fat crackhead guy, and then he's a great competitor, he's great, thank you. I don't like that. Just be one of them. I mean, all those things can exist, but be one of them. Let us know who you are. That's what people are drawn to. That's what people want to see. And his inauthentic way is what turns me off about John Jones. And what turns me on about Cormier, Daniel Cormier turns me on, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Hal?
All right, man. Okay. That's, go ahead. Take care, guys.
All right, we'll see you. Hey, one last thing, and then we'll talk Lion Fight. We said we'd reserve the last 30 minutes. We're closing in on that. Are you guys rooting for, if John Jones turned it around, he gave a classy response to Daniel Cormier, he was just at SeaWorld with his family. He's done nothing wrong here in the last 72 hours that I know of.
He probably killed a whale, though.
Are you cheering for the comeback? Regardless of how you feel like him, as a human being, are you cheering for him to just, all right, the past is the past. I hope this guy gets his shit together and just is, going forward, he's just a good world champion.
I'm kind of with
husband,
Chase,
good father.
Where I do have those problems where I just don't feel like he's being authentic. But even aside from that, my problems with him fighting is just like, how I'm not a big fan of that linear kick, and especially if you're the greatest fighter on the planet, you should be the last guy that needs it, right? So those things do kind of bug me. I'm not going to say I root for him, but I would want
the personal side.
Yeah,
you want him to.
Yeah, I don't want bad things to happen to him.
Yeah.
I want him to represent the sport. So in other words, when I'm talking to noobs, I want to be able to point to him and not hear, oh, you mean the guy that did this? I'd rather them point to the successes that he's done in the sport to help the sport grow.
You guys cheering for the comeback?
I'll be an audience for the comeback, but I won't be cheering for it
right.
under any circumstances. He surrounds himself with
That's
bad
a good way of
people.
putting it. I think you're right.
It's just not interested.
Bootsy?
Yeah, I'd never wish ill on anyone. I would hope that he turns it around just because I like when good people exist instead of shitty people. But I'm not going to ever be able to root for him like a real fan. I can appreciate what he does, though.
Yeah,
like there's an obvious separation between, wow, that person's amazing at what they do, and boy, I don't like that person. And so I don't have to root for him, but I will acknowledge, his skill set and his ability.
And he's the best fighter out there.
Who's been able to pull it off, except not because of the extracurricular, but Ronda Rousey's gone through this cycle where she's beloved, and then when she didn't do the handshake, a lot of people jumped off. And then when she hid after getting knocked out by Holly, some people were like, they didn't appreciate the way she didn't confront the loss. And then, of course, Amanda and no media. And there's just this back and forth with her. But with John, I've seen on social media that there are people that no matter what will just never be a fan of his. And then there's others that will side with him, even if he were to repeat every single thing he did up until this point.
And I don't understand those people. And Ronda was an authentic champion. She's an authentic person. Her leaving, that wasn't her trying to slight anybody. She cared so much about winning that fight and gave so much of a shit that she couldn't bear facing the actual outcome of it. And I can understand that. I can relate to it. And I think people who root for John Jones, I don't get it. Do I want him to be a better person? Do I understand rooting for him to become a better person and fixing his life? Yes. Rooting for him to succeed in the cage as a fighter, I don't get it. But, man, is it fun to watch because he is an amazing, amazing athlete.
Shout out to Joe Mosqueda in the chat, the Facebook chat, Alfonso Berry, and Mixelis Mavrudis. All right, let's go to Brian in Boston. What's up, Brian? How you doing?
Hey, I had called in to talk about Woodley real quick, but this conversation sort of caught my attention.
All right.
Pre-John Jones victory speech, I didn't think anything about the guy was authentic. I thought the way he handled himself after that fight, unless something's changed in the last couple of days that I've missed, I thought he was very authentic. And I thought that human emotion that he was showing was real. And again, and I loved Cormier's human emotion too. Like, you guys talk about crying. Myself, I'm about 6'5", 220 pounds, and I cry all the time.
Yep.
And I don't understand how people can go on social media and make fun of a guy like Daniel Cormier, who's gone through the stuff that he's gone through in his life, like losing a daughter, unimaginable. And then, he's in the ring showing real emotion, and they're calling him pussy and making fun of him crying. And that's the people that I don't want watching MMA. You need to go away because you just don't get it. But I think John Jones, after that fight, I felt like that emotion was real. I didn't think it was contrite or contrived.
Well, if that was real, then everything before the fight wasn't. And that's the part I say about consistency and authenticity. That's my problem with him. If that was real, be that. But
who's the realest person in MMA? Who do you guys think? Nick Diaz?
King Mo, because every time he starts a sentence, he says, I'm going to keep it 100 or I'm going to keep it real.
Yeah, he's already claimed it, so
yeah.
You can't
No, but you know what? I guess, who do you get?
Khabib's pretty real. He just talks, and he just says whatever he wants. I don't think he cares what anybody thinks about it, and I don't think he thinks about it before he says it, so that's pretty real.
I think in Eddie Alvarez, whatever comes out of his mouth, pretty real, pretty honest. Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, I think there's a separation between, like, we all know people hype stuff or try to act a little tougher than they are, louder than they are. That's fine, but I don't think John Jones was being real
Damian
at all.
Maia is pretty real.
I think Max Holloway,
Max
Holloway does a good job of what you're talking about.
Right.
Hyping up a fight, but still kind of being the guy that he is.
Yeah, you just put an exclamation point on yourself. Dave Mazzani from the EFC told that to me a long time ago. I think one of my first interviews I did out here for him for Bleacher Report. And he just said, a lot of people try to be something they're not, and that's why it falls flat, and that's why it doesn't feel real. You just put 3 exclamation points on whoever you are, and that will sell it for you, and you won't look like an actor.
Brian?
All that stuff that John Jones said before the fight, in his mind, could have been real. He could have felt that way before the fight. And he was getting himself in the zone to perform the way he performed. And when he finished performing the way he performed, he felt differently. So I don't think you can say one thing on the left side of the fence and then change your mind on the right side of the fence after what he went through. So I give him the benefit of the doubt right now that the dude had a horrible year. He had a come to Jesus moment. He defeated the second greatest fighter on the planet and won back his life. So I look at it as both of those emotions were wrong. Now, if I look at John Jones' past, can he prove me wrong and I got to call back in a month and say that everything I said was wrong? So be it. But for that moment, I believed him. Other crap I haven't, but I did on that one.
And you may be proved to be right. I think it's just I'm a big fan of that you have to look at what's in the past. And we've seen him be, I'm the guy
Do I have to kill you? What if I was just to kick the ever-loving shit out of you?
I don't even know why that came up.
Just up there. Joe Pesci has to say stuff.
That was so weird.
I mean, it's one of those things where if he hadn't been through this turn of heel to good guy multiple times, I would go, oh, wow, there's real John Jones. But I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, frankly, at this point. Because I don't think he has the capability to have some of these human emotions that he's trying to show.
All right.
Yeah, and I can understand where you see that and feel it. I get it too.
Yeah,
right, guys,
I hope you're right.
Brian, did you want to give your Woodley comment? I mean, you did call, you did hold, and frankly, we're okay on time. So, did you still want to do that, or?
Okay, cool. Cool. I would love to. I didn't want to take up too much time. Yeah. Now with Woodley coming out saying that with the torn labrum and the right hand, does that change the narrative on the way we are reviewing the way he fought Damian Maia? Can he now spin it as, hey, I beat the best jiu-jitsu guy in the UFC with one arm?
I think there's a large group of people who don't have a problem with the way he fought. They have a problem with why he said he fought that way, or what his remarks afterwards. If he would have at the end of the fight said, "Guys, it was a shit performance. I'm sorry, but this is what happened to my shoulder," I think a lot of people would have been okay with that.
I know. Do you think that though? After he's done this so many times, it's enough times now. Or has he had a torn labrum the entire time?
I thought he hurt him, and I thought at one point there was an obvious point where I think he probably could have put him away.
Well, I said this the other day. If Woodley would take a step forward towards the criticism, whereas if anything, he tries to distance himself from it, and it just rubs the fans, the media, the wrong way, including myself. Look, of course, a torn labrum is going to affect your performance, and I'm not sure about the right hand injury. I thought I heard that, but I don't know what the complete deal with it was. I can't imagine that's a good thing. Thanks, Brian, for the call. But again, this guy is on a campaign for GOAT status, and so I gave the example of when he was on Ariel's show. Ariel told him the fans believe that Robbie Lawler might be a good opponent for you. What do you think? And he gave reasons why it was a dumb suggestion. And you see what I'm saying? So Woodley has these blinders on at times that really just turns people off, because I said, well, that's almost as ridiculous as when you were campaigning for a Nick Diaz fight. Nick Diaz hasn't won a fight since 2011, and he hasn't since 2011, and he hasn't fought in 2.5 years. So don't expect us to take that and fist bump, co-sign, make a push as a Woodley fan or whoever, but then at the same time not also call you or not also get the same from you. When hundreds, thousands, millions of people are also putting this criticism on you. You know what I mean? And that's the problem I have mostly than anything, because to me he strikes me as a clear thinker, smart human being. Like not anybody that has these outrageous thoughts. I mean, when you sit him down and talk to him, you can have a pretty mature conversation, and a lot of fighters you can't. And that's why, for me, it's a little bit of a turnoff at times that he can go all of a sudden and become wacky or irrational. We got to take a break. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93, and we have a panel here to our right from Tough Prince, Chase Kobrin, the strategist, and Bootsy Harris. Bootsy, what's I guess your title over there at Tough Prince?
I have no idea. You'd have to ask him.
Brain guy.
Brain guy. Brain guy. All right, there you got it. So we'll be right back after this break, and we'll talk some Muay Thai, and we'll also take your call. So call in 866-522-2846.
all the ink.
No.
They pat down TSA agents because they don't know where those people have been. And because they can. They are Gorgeous George and Goes. And this is MMA Junkie Radio.
NASCAR heads to the Glen this Sunday at 2 Eastern for the I Love New York 355 at the Glen, live from Watkins Glen. Race coverage starts Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern on your home for 24/7 NASCAR coverage, SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90. We also have our MMA history for today fun facts. Do we have one or two, Danny? What do we have today?
We only have one today, which is weird because I don't think we got one yesterday.
All right, so what happened in MMA history today?
In MMA history, hold on, let me put this person on hold. It's showtime. So after realizing that Chan Sung Jung dislocated his arm, Jose Aldo goes in for the kill and finishes him at UFC 163.
And that was the last fight I think Jung had before he had to serve his 2 years.
That was ridiculous.
With the Korean.
Make him do it once his career's over. He's not going to run away from it.
Slippery slope. You can't do that for an athlete and not do it.
But he
for
represents so much for that country, you know what I mean? Like a hero.
Does the
Isn't that what you want to build, heroes?
Pretty sure they're more worried about North Korea than they are
UFC
belt. It's just my thought on that.
Good stuff, Danny. Shout out to MMA History Today for supplying that. And the guys just got back from a trip back east, Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
The Mohegan Sun?
No, Foxwoods.
Foxwoods, okay.
Well,
sorry.
Mohegan Sun's close.
Yeah. And it was Lion Fight 37 with, I believe there was a vacant title and a champion.
There was one vacant
title. There was, yes.
One vacant title, and then there was one champion defending. But talk about that night of fights. Goes and I have seen them when they're here and in Cali. Never disappointed with Lion Fights, but tell us about your experience out there. And I think there was also a business relationship. You didn't just go as fans.
Yeah, so I'm going to probably just pass this one to Bootsy, but the way we went out there to basically get our first taste of what the Lion Fights looks like live.
Right.
I've never seen a Muay Thai fight live.
Oh, really? Not even here in Vegas?
Not even here in Vegas. The only fight I'd ever watched was Joanna Bars versus Cyborg. And if you guys haven't
in person
seen
or on TV?
On television.
Oh, yeah, that was a great fight.
If you haven't seen that fight, go back and watch it. Cyborg.
Same Cyborg that fights MMA. Cyborg. That was her.
She just ended up losing the fight. And she was getting standing knees to the face by this girl that was doing it effortlessly. Cyborg.
Undefeated, by the way.
Yeah, unbelievable. And by the way, that's the closest.
Head of security at a big club in Amsterdam. She's no joke.
Yeah, and look at, Conor Mayweather thing. That was what that was. That was MMA versus Muay Thai. The skill sets are more comparable, but our best MMA person went in there and lost. So you guys got to keep these things in perspective. Now, I watched Muay Thai for the first time live, and I was absolutely blown away by how violent it was and how aggressive the fighters were and how explosive the kicks were. The kicks look different. They're a different speed because they don't have to worry about getting taken down. They don't have to worry about certain things. So I was blown away by it. We are entering a relationship with Lion Fights right now where we're going to take over their social media, and we're going to do it in a way that I think fans, old fans that like Muay Thai, are going to like and appreciate, but also the people like me who like MMA, like combat sports, but never seen Muay Thai. We're going to, in a fun way, educate and show you guys why Muay Thai is really, really amazing, and specifically Lion Fight, which is the premier promotion in North America. So that was me. It was information gathering. Bootsy's already known about it for a long time, and he'll tell you what he experienced.
Yeah, so like I came in still as a casual fan of Muay Thai, but I do, if I find a stream on it, if someone puts it up on Facebook or there's a stream somewhere about it, I'm going to sit and watch it because I do know about it. So I'm not as green as Chase in this category. I've been to the Lion Fights that were out here, both of Cyborg's fights. In fact, her first fight that was at the D was the first fight I was at in Vegas when I moved out here from Central America.
That was the one outdoors, right?
Yes, it was the one outdoors.
That one was incredible.
Yeah, and that was my first experience, and I went there because I was working for Bleacher Report. They had just hired me on, and I went out there to see Cyborg, and they got mad that I was covering non-MMA stuff but I was watching Cyborg. That's why I went there. It was my excuse to be like, I get to go see Cyborg fight. Tito Ortiz was a total ass to me. That's fine. But so once I watched that show and the violence that happened there, Kevin Ross fought a Japanese guy whose name is escaping me, but a bloody fight back and forth.
Great fight. Split decision,
crazy.
I think.
Yeah,
we saw the Japanese guy cashing in a ticket.
Yeah.
He bet on himself, which I have no problem with. He didn't Pete Rose it and go the other side. But
so
sorry.
I went into
the other
Lion Fight knowing what I was getting into, but that show was, again, that was a masterful show. The matchmaking was fantastic. All the guys that fought were amazing. There were no female fights this time, unfortunately, but every guy that fought there went out there to kill. And like Chase has said before to me, and I think to the guys at Lion Fight, it looked like the last 10 seconds of a UFC fight every second of that fight.
Yeah.
They were going out there to actually get each other. And the best part is that they do it with this high-level violence, and it's outside of one guy that was there, it was all done with the utmost respect, with the utmost of graciousness in defeat and victory. Doesn't mean there weren't personalities. There definitely were. But it just had that feel of, we're going to try to kill each other, and then we're going to give each other a hug afterwards, a high five, we'll talk backstage. We saw that there were 3 or 4 pairs of opponents that were sitting around and talking before the show.
In the back.
Really chit-chatting, like not just, oh, hey, what's up? But having conversations, so where you train, oh, I know that guy, that's great. You know, how's your family doing? It was that kind of conversation, which I've spent a lot of time in MMA now, whether at the amateur level with Tough Enough or with WSOF, and helping out Bellator, things like that. You don't see that in MMA often. Every once in a while, you'll see 2 guys that know each other. They'll be pleasant. But you don't see 2 guys sitting and talking almost like they're sitting down to fish together and have a long conversation. And then like, okay, so I'll see you tomorrow when I'm trying to kick your head in. Cool, awesome. I'm going to try to punch you. Great. You know, it's beautiful to see. Lion Fight puts the show together well, where it's a tight show. It runs quickly but efficiently. And so you never get that feeling like, unfortunately, I do at UFC shows where I'm sitting for 15 minutes waiting for the next show to happen if I'm there. And, you know, just wondering what's going to happen next. Hope it's not a 2-second fight because I don't want to wait another 20 minutes. Lion Fight, you're in and out. You're going. And it feels like a long show because they put on enough fights. But you don't get that moment to kind of become bored or have an excuse to go back to the casino for 20 minutes if you want to. So it was amazingly well put together, and I'm looking forward to working with them because there is such a huge history in Muay Thai that there's a lot of ways we can go with it, and not a lot of Americans appreciate it for what it is, for good reason. It's been hard to find it around the world until the last 4 or 5 years with high-speed internet, good quality live streams.
And understand the scoring. Takes a while to get used to it.
Honestly, until maybe 6 months ago, I never understood the scoring, and it didn't matter because the fight. To watch guys, like when we watch Petch in the main event, blocking head kicks, not by blocking or talking on the phone or touching the back of his neck, but literally just putting his forearm out and absorbing it to his forearm and not moving, that blows me away every single time he does it. There's just something about that level of almost superhero skill that just makes you have to watch it. So I forgot, by the end of it, I wasn't thinking about who won. I just want to see them fight more. I want to see another fight between people at this level. And maybe it's because I'm too entrenched in MMA, but I'm picking apart MMA so much, I've lost the ability to do that. Where I'm watching Woodley or Jones and I go, just do a thing. Like, stop. Why didn't you do that move? Tell your corner to shut up. They're being annoying. And when I'm watching Muay Thai, I get stuck like a fan, like how Chase is, and like the people who go there are. The fans there, they have fan retention there. People do not leave, which you see at smaller shows sometimes in MMA, especially if it's someone, you know, I saw my guy fight him out. There were guys that watched Stephen Walker fight, which was the young guy you were talking about earlier, his Muay Thai debut. Looks like he could be a monster. All his fans loved it. They didn't leave. And there were probably 4 more fights after him because they want to see more of this assured violence, essentially.
I mean, they're kicking each other in the thigh and the calves. They're head hunting. The elbows. There's a diversity of the elbows that are thrown as well. I mean, they're slicing each other. There's thuds and bone rattles and cracks. You cannot take your eyes off a Lion Fight
and they don't blink.
Card.
They don't blink when it happens. They get kicked in the head and they just throw their next combo.
Or they get knocked out.
I've seen MMA fans and boxing fans who have gone to Lion Fight and been more glued than when they've gone to Glory, for example. And I don't know why, because they're very similar arts, but for some reason, I don't know if it's the production or what it is. And again, Lion Fight does a great job. I love their canvas. The ring is pleasing as a fan who's watching on TV, or if you're there in person. The athletes that they found, a good mix of Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, North America. Tiffany Van Soos, who's now in Invicta, she was a world champion there. Gaston Bolanos, who's now at Bellator, he I believe competed for a title, but I mean was undefeated for a long time. There's been you mentioned the cyborg angle, so there's been a nice crossover, and I'm a huge fan of Lion Fight. Congrats for being part of them going forward.
Thank you. And it's really
sounds like a deal was struck, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go meet with them 30 minutes after we get out of here. But yeah, we have a handshake in place, and we're gonna sign the papers right after this. But either way, everything we're saying is realistic. It's real. We're It's hard to explain. We're going to go ahead and approach this from a social media side in a way that really hasn't happened before in other promotions. We're going to, when we create art for these fighters, we're going to ask the fighters what they want to see. We're not going to talk to the bosses and the president and say, hey, what do you want to push? We're going to talk to the fighters and say, how do you want to be pushed? That's one of the interesting things we're going to do. We're going to live stream actual footage of fighters breaking down their own fights and talking about what they went through here, what they felt here, what they heard that person. It's going to be so interesting because we have the Muay Thai guy, the guy that is an analytic and has all the history, and you've got the person that Lion Fights needs and Muay Thai needs, which is a North American doofus that just likes punching and kicking, but they sound like they're speaking another language, so I'm good, right? And we're going to approach it from both standpoints.
So we have to take one more commercial break, but I want you to think about something while we do that. A lot of people who know you, they know you as the T-shirt and banner guy. But your business has expanded so much. How did you get to this point?
We got to this point because when the Reebok deal happened, I had to write off $50,000 to $60,000 in owed money from managers, mostly managers, that no longer thought us...
Why write it off?
Well, because we weren't necessary anymore. Because, there's no more banners, no more printing, no more printing to be done. That's all taken care of. I have a $2,000 bill outstanding with Tough Prints. Probably never talk to those guys again. Wrote it off. I'm
James Thompson. Hire that guy.
James Thompson?
Yeah. The Colossus.
Oh, I know that. Why am I hiring him?
That's what he used to do, collect debts.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
He was a debt collector.
So maybe I will. I let it go for the most part, but there's a large group of MMA management. Hey, fighters, if you want to know if your manager didn't pay your bill, give me a call. I'll let you know. But that's basically what happened. So we had to find a new skill set. We had to find a new direction to make it work. We have an amazing art team. We've got amazing history. And we've really expanded our skill sets. We do social media. We do branding. We do personality development. We do merchandising now. So there's
He also met me and realized I'm weird enough that he can give me a task and I'll just sit in the office for 3 weeks.
I can sell that, right? He can't sell that. I can sell that, though. So we have such a unique group of both fans but also incredibly talented artists and people with social media understanding that we're repackaging ourselves, which is something I think all fighters should do also. If you're in a situation like Tyron Woodley, this should be what the managers are doing, but you're supposed to... The best product doesn't always sell. It's usually the sexiest product. It's the one that's packaged the best, and that's what we have that ability, and that is what we're doing. We're trying to stay in fight sports because we love it so much and we have such history there, but we've branched out a little bit because of the money situation with everything happening.
We got to jump in here. We got to take one more break, right, Goes? All right, one more break, and we'll come back and close up. If Goes is okay with it and Danny's okay with it, we'll take the calls during a quick OT, and then we'll bounce out of here. And you guys are more than welcome to stay. I know you have a meeting, and but we got to hit this spot right here. So we'll be right back after this quick break, folks. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93.
They taught Andy Griffith how to whistle. Here are Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, Junkie Nation, we're going to extend our show by a few minutes on the overtime. So what you want to do is head over to facebook.com/official MMA Junkie SiriusXM audience. You will get more combat sports and entertainment programming your way. Of course, if you have the SiriusXM app, you can go back and listen to any or all of the show commercial-free HD quality. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking to Gustavo Lopez, local fighter here out of Extreme Couture. Dave LaGreca from Busted Open will also join us. We'll talk a little bit about pro wrestling and Brock Lesnar and what's the reality of him fighting in MMA again. Also, shout out to the voice, Michael Chavello, landing with 1 championship. Cool, huh? So that's a huge signing for them, and he's excited. Of course, he'll be able to continue living in Melbourne, raising his family, and not being so far away from home, basically. So we're very, very happy for him. The guys are going to stay with us. We're going to take your calls. It's just going to be a soft exit, and we'll be back in about 20 seconds. So stay close. We'll be right back. It's MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM, Rush 93.
Fever, Las Vegas with your neon flashing and your one-arm bandits crashing. All those hopes down the drain. Fever, Las Vegas turning day into nighttime, turning night into daytime. If you see it once, you'll never be the same again. I'm gonna keep on the run, I'm gonna have me some fun. It cost me my very last dime. If my wind-up broke, well, I'll always remember that I had a swing in time. I'm gonna give it.
You guys clear for overtime.
I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Benny Nunez, who's here in studio. I've known Benny since about 1986 when I started selling shoes at Sears in Costa Mesa. So quite a long time. That's like, now I think about it, that's 30 years. And a lot of times Junkie Nation will hear about this big house that me and my buddies rented, and where we played poker and shot pool and watched porn and watched early UFC, had house parties like mofos, and Benny was at every single one of them. Those definitely were the days, and I was surprised to see him this morning when I walked in. So thanks for coming by, Benny. We'll grab some food afterwards. We're staying over a couple minutes, and we'll crank out these calls and then do our final shout-outs and goodbyes and get on out of here. We'll start off with DJ Tony from San Francisco. What's up, Tony? Tony from San Francisco, you there?
Coming at you. Can you hear me now, gentlemen?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Gentlemen, I am coming to you in OT because Danny had me waiting 29 minutes, but shout out to Danny from Automatic 253. You know, as the lead singer of 3 Days Grace, Adam Gontier, once said to Dana White about Tyron Woodley's current fighting style, "I hate everything about you." Shout out, of course, to Chase and Bootsy from Tough Prince. Great job on the new MMA Junkie Radio T-shirts. Cricket? All right, never mind. All right.
Jerks. What a bunch of...
well, no, I knew you guys weren't doing it weekly, but that's quite a pace there. That's 250 shows in just over a year, right?
You know what? And shout out to Junkie Nation. Listen, this would have never been created without Joe, Proteus, and myself. And, you know, shout out to you, by the way, Gigi and Goes. You guys have been nothing but stars. And, you know, we were graced to have, honestly, Chase Kobrin as one of our first guests, and he saved us a couple of times. So, we love you guys, and thanks. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. Hey, listen, guys, as fans, we often complain about Tyron Woodley's fight style, and correctly so, right? But wouldn't we rather have an alleged injured fighter fight than someone that allegedly is cleared to fight and not fight like Amanda Nunes? I mean, either way, people complain, but I personally would rather see a fighter fight.
Well, he had to fight through it, right?
He hurt the fight. Yeah, he hurt himself through the fight, so I believe he showed up to the dance healthy. But I guess to answer your question, yes, I would rather have that. But again, he showed up healthy. He hurt himself. I don't know when he hurt the hand, but I know I heard the shoulder injury was part of the first round. Bootsy said something that I think all of us feel, okay, but what about the other fights? Because there's been other fights that, again, have been less than exciting, and versus opponents who have been involved in exciting fights.
Well,
I've kind of talked till my face is blue, but if you guys want to say anything about this.
Not only that, but sometimes, and I understand that fighters, aren't getting paid enough sometimes to do what I'm about to say, but for sure, if you're hurt but you decide you need to fight, go out on your shield a bit. Like, go after it, because I'm not interested if you're not going to put in 100%. And I know Woodley is a quality athlete, and he was trying hard to a point, but like, I started with scouting. I saw that he was taking moments where he went, nah, I'm just not going to, because I need to keep this belt. Because I've had the pleasure of being able to fly to South Africa and Cameroon and Manila and watch these people who have nothing training on dirt floors that would give anything and would run in at Maya and try to just take his head off, whether they were hurt or not. So I think it irks me a little bit when someone's just super afraid of losing their belt, because then maybe I won't get the belt back. Go out there and do it if you're going to do it.
Half those guys are getting choked out in the dirt floor, though, man. Like,
absolutely.
They're just gonna
but
get
that's the
choked
thing,
out.
is if you're going to do it, go do it.
Yeah.
I don't do it half-assed. So I guess I fall on the side of just sit out then. Like, if you're going to, don't go in there and technically sit out. Sit out. Say that you're hurt.
Tony?
And guys, I don't think Chase is crazy by saying that they may cut Tyron Woodley. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Yeah, he's not making a lot of money for them, guys. So if they cut him and someone else signs him, big deal. But they make a statement, because they'll never cut someone like clearly like Ronda, or of course she's not active, or Connor. So why not make a statement? I agree with Chase on that one, guys. Guys, I love you guys. You guys are fantastic. Again, you guys literally are the standard that we should all strive for. Gentlemen, thank you for everything.
All right, see you, Tony. AMP Radio, another MMA podcast celebrating 250 shows.
Yep, he's being super nice to me because I think Derek Lewis canceled on him, so I called in as the White Beast.
Oh, okay.
I gave it to him. I was like, "It's me, the White Beast." And it just kind of happened. It was good.
Showtime from Tennessee. What's up, Showtime? It's your time.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? And I want to shout out the Tough Quick guys, and especially Chase for hooking me up with those 213 tickets, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
man.
you're very welcome.
Hey, I want to make a comment on the Woodley thing, man. I think it'll be, if they cut Woodley with him being a champ, it'll be all hell to break loose on that. So I don't think they want to start that up. That won't look right with them doing that. But I want to go against all you guys, man, on the Sergio Pettis pick, man. I think the other gentleman is gonna get wild. He's gonna come in with a bunch of wild shit. And I've been watching the growth in Sergio. I was kind of like you guys. I thought that he might have had the silver spoon in his mouth because of who his brother was. But when Anthony was struggling, Sergio was getting better. And I've actually watched him get better each fight. And I think I'm going to double down with the dog on this one, man. I like Sergio.
Yeah, and I don't think he's wrong about that possible prediction. My hesitation with Sergio was just I haven't seen him put it together, so he could get caught with crazy stuff or try something that maybe he hasn't really honed yet as a skill. But I think, I mean, if you're right, I left a lot of room for myself to, like, say I was on either side of this argument. But quite frankly, if Sergio does win, I'm going to say that's fine that I'm wrong, because I think he could put it together for the very reasons you're talking about.
Yeah, and it sounds like so you're saying all hell would break loose, and I think if they cut Tyron, but here's what I would think. Here's what I would see.
Well, they just cut the girl. They cut, or they took the belt
Cindy
from the champion.
Like, right. Well, no,
Jermaine. They cut Jermaine?
No, they didn't cut her. They took the belt, and she's not going to be doing it.
Okay.
But if they do that, they're going to send a clear message. A, to the fans, that if you don't like it, don't worry about it. We're not going to shove it down your throat. That's number one. Number two, it sends a message to the fighters, which is, hey, it's more important to go out there and be entertaining and really make a great product than winning. And I think that concept would make the sport stronger.
I don't know if they should pick a side, though. They can think it
and
send subliminal messages towards it, but I don't know if they ever actually, I think they're fine with being called sports entertainment, but I think at the same time they want to be a legitimate sport.
Right.
And so when the time is right and they say certain things towards, hey, we want you to compete, we need you to compete, and not necessarily go WWE.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's times when they're going to let you know that, hey, we're also not going to hate you when you go WWE. So cutting a champion off a win just would be, as much as you're saying it would send a message, I also believe it would be, I agree with Showtime that it would be bad for business. I think a lot of other fighters would there would be a pushback from them. But, well, go ahead. What do you guys want to say?
Well, I was going to say, this is going to go a step deeper, and I don't mean to divert too far, but one of the problems I always have with Western MMA is the fact that the belt and the 0 next to the loss column is the most important thing, which creates these situations. Because if you Ryzen last week, Tokoro, who's going out there, has I don't know how many losses.
Love Tokoro.
Yeah.
Hideo Tokoro?
Right.
Okay.
And he goes out there against Horiguchi, who he should not be fighting because he has way too many losses. Horiguchi's a monster. But he goes out there and does it and is the main event, and everyone applauds him and respects him, and he is paid well because he goes out there to fight. He didn't go out there to kind of jab away at Horiguchi, hope that he could kind of muscle him. None of that stuff. He went out there and he fought. I get why Tyron did what he did because of the situation he's in. I think it's a bigger problem with Western MMA because, as you were just talking about, the way Ryzen does it is before the weigh-ins, they actually sit everyone down and go, we don't really care if you win or lose. Like, that's not what's important to us.
Yeah.
Hicks and Gracie did a speech at the New Year's Eve show I was at where he's talking about, don't go out there and just try to win. Like, that's not what this is about. This is about showing a warrior spirit. This is about showing the fans what they came for because they paid money for this.
Yep.
And they didn't pay money just to see you win.
And an interesting illustration of that, just a little peek behind the curtain, right? When we went out there for the last Japan fight in Ryzen, or Ryzen fight in Japan.
There
sorry.
we go.
We were sitting with people from Amir's camp, Amir Ali Akbari, when he fought that big Brazilian dude. Forget his name.
Geronimo.
There you go.
And he also beat Tyler King. Tyler King had been on our show.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference. Right after he fought and he beat Geronimo, they were billing it as Godzilla versus King Kong, blah, 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 blah. Fun, right? He put him in a crucifix and kind of jabbed his face up until the end of the fight. Devastating, hard to get out of, effective. Yeah, he won. Right after that, they texted his manager and were blowing him up. I told you guys not to do that. Why did you do that? That is not what the fans wanted to see. He came back and he beat Tyler King in devastating fashion the next fight. Are those two things related? I'm not sure. Is that the matchup? I'm not sure. But they illustrated that point.
Right.
And it wasn't a better product.
It wasn't like they were saying you have to stand and bang, but they were saying you got to be doing something. If you're on the ground, be doing something. Don't just sit in this locked, safe position. Now, personally, I would market it. If I was them, I would market it as who's going to get out of this. This is the move you can't get out of. Who's going to do it? But they don't want to do that because, fair enough, the Japanese fans just don't dig it. So they were just trying to get. I mean, he was right when he said the moment after he won.
Yeah, it was
from them. Yeah, it was from the matchmaker just going, why? Why would you do that? We've already talked about this. That's not the way we do things here. And he goes out and immediately takes him down and does the thing we talked about. So there's just
a culture thing, dude.
It's a paradigm shift.
But it makes for better MMA.
All they care about is putting on great fights. That's why you saw Vanderlei and Sakuraba fight 3 times. They didn't care. They just wanted to be entertained. Over here, it's all about who's the best. That's what we hammer out every day on that big screen.
And the money. It's associated with the belt.
Okay, but if that's the case, then what I'm saying
so
about
reward,
the Tyrant situation
reward barn burner fighters.
Well, honestly, couldn't you just deal with the Tyrant situation by putting him on a live event, giving him less or whatever the minimum is on his contract, or giving a new contract that's just kind of flatlined and go, when you start showing that you want to fight and not just hold the belt, then we'll talk. But until then, here you are in Fox.
Which is similar what they did with Demetrius. I think
Which is crazy because Demetrius is super exciting.
Yeah, he loves Demetrius.
He's an actual ninja. He's a literal ninja.
And I watch him, and I can see it. Like just like I watched that line fight, the main fight, where they were just the 2 highest level guys. Demetrius is by far and away, especially in that division, just he's a monster. Do I really look forward to watching him crush someone in a kind of easy way? I mean, it looks easy. I don't know. I'm not really all that interested, to be honest.
And this is a unique thing with MMA and boxing fans, I think, because if like Michael Phelps goes out there and crushes people swimming all the time, and every Olympics people cannot stop talking about it, and sharks.
He lost to the shark.
But yeah, it drives me crazy that in those things everyone reveres it, right? They go, oh, this guy's going to win every time, and it's amazing. And when Demetrius Johnson, by no fault of his own, is one of the most exciting yet least followed guys in the world, because the fans just go, oh, but he's just going to win. But to me, it's not like a Woodley thing where it's, oh, he's just going to win by not getting hurt and blah, blah. He goes out there and finds a way to dissect and tear apart his opponent. And I think one of the problems most American fans have is they feel like they could pick him up and just move him. And so they go, I don't like that then. Like people want to watch a bear fight, not a badger fight. That's the problem with Western, the idea of Western fighting. But for someone like me, and I think there are a lot of fans out there that given the opportunity would pay to watch him fight, I think he's great, and that's kind of the separation there between Tyron and Demetrius. Demetrius should be making more and should get more of a push. Tyron should get some form of penalty, and I don't think they should take away the belt, take away the money. They just need to make it clear to him, you're doing a thing that isn't entertaining.
Did you guys like the yellow card in the Pride Days?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I liked when
Showtime.
Ty and Gracie freaked out about it.
Showtime, I know you have been very passionate about it, and you haven't really talked about it. And since this is it, and we're staying these last few minutes, please tell me a little bit more. What did you think? Use a couple adjectives to describe the Woodley fight.
I'm gonna put it like this: it's making $500K or making $200K. Which one your wife gonna want you to come home with?
$500K.
She wants you to go out there and risk getting knocked out or choked out, and get that belt, and you get $200K or $150 to show, $150 to win, or you just get that flat weight $500.
No, but we're not arguing that point. That's not the point we're arguing. That's because I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
We're trying to figure out why he did it, and that's
he did it so he could win.
The reason
he did it so he could win. What I'm saying is there has to be something in place.
Yeah,
there has to be something in place to avoid that people just thinking just like that, or else you're gonna have a bunch of champions that nobody are really interested in. And like you guys just said, Western MMA is all about the champion. And if we have a bunch of champions that nobody's really interested in, who's going to keep interest
not only that,
in the UFC?
I think we're in a crisis right now for the UFC, whether they want to talk about it or not. Aren't most, if not all, the champions not going for a championship fight? Because we got Stipe's fighting a contract. Bisping wants to fight GSP. We have Lesnar versus John Jones. We've got injured fighters down at, the lightweights off boxing. Then, I mean, it seems like there's only 2 champions right now.
Yep. You know where I think all this got fucked up? Fighters make a lot more money now.
Oh, don't
so
blame
they
them
have
for
a
making
lot.
their
They
cheddar.
have a lot to protect now. Okay, and situations like Demetrius Johnson, what Tyron Woodley can do, they can hold out because now they have money in the bank and they can do those type of things.
The system is messed up. Fighters should be making.
If we go
more
back
money,
about
but the
5 years,
messed up.
where fighters didn't have that kind of money and they had to fight, then you would see them put out more.
Right, but it's just the system that's messed up that
and it's not
allows
gonna be
them to
fixed.
do that. So what they need
Why
to
not?
do is that incentive of knockouts of exciting fights where that's where
Yeah,
you make
why-
your money. And
why
if you
not?
have the
You could do
belt,
that, yeah.
fantastic, here's a little extra. But belts shouldn't be the thing that put you over the top if this system allows you to be boring and keep it and make the money. Because like he said, that's going to create that situation.
If you guys were in Tyron Woodley's corner,
I wouldn't
at
say
the
a
end of the
word.
fourth at the end of the 4th round, would you have said, "You know, we're doing good here. We're up
No,
4 rounds.
no.
Dive into his guard.
No, because I
and
get
make
a-
this exciting." You
No,
wouldn't have done that,
but,
right?
But I would have thought it because I get.
But you wouldn't have said it.
But I
First
get
of
it
all-
because I get a percentage of what he's making, and I know he can make far more if people really want to see him fight, and people are shelling out a million pay-per-view buys to watch him fight. I'm richer too, so I would be trying to figure out the way to say it, and of course I would tuck my tail between my legs and never say it.
And I would have been fired weeks before for telling him he's fighting like a scared child.
Yep.
So.
And Showtime, you gave the example about 500,000 or 150, 150. If he would have starched his last 2 opponents, which I believe he could have, he's got the skills to, he would not only just be making that 500,000 plus pay-per-view points. You know, I mean, he's going to do well because this was a card that did well, but he could be headlining his own cards and be making way more than the 500,000 or the 150 and 150. So it's kind of also an investment on yourself. You see what I'm saying? Going forward. You didn't answer my question though. Did you think it was an exciting fight?
Oh, no. I just thought it was a tactical fight. I just thought it, was sort of like a GSP fight. He did what he had to do to win. Let me ask you this. Let me get you guys' opinion on this. What if the UFC dangles a carrot out there with these fights since they want exciting fights? They need to give out more bonuses. For a finish, they need to put a little bit more money up.
No, that already exists.
Well, they do need to fix that.
They only give out so many, though. They don't give out 5 fights where they're giving out 5 guys 50 speed. They only giving out, 3 fight of the night, and then they give out 2 other bonuses.
And usually it seems
he means more like what Victory does.
No, I get that, but at the top end,
Thank
that
you,
already
Showtime, for the call.
exists. If you can put yourself in a position where you can get yourself sponsored on a high level, if you can put yourself in a situation where you get a cut of the pay-per-view, that already exists. What's missing is the other side of it. Like they showed, next time the Jermaine Duratame situation comes up, no fighters they're going to think twice about doing it, because right when that happened, and I don't know what the motivations were for why he was so outspoken and say she'll never headline another card. And
You mean
I'm gonna
Amanda?
strip the belt. Yeah, Amanda Nunes.
Jermaine,
I'm sorry,
okay.
not Jermaine. So they put that penalty in place on her. Next time someone's in that situation, they're going to think twice about doing that. So the penalty is what's missing. It's not the carrot. The carrot is there. If you have people that are interested in you, you can make a lot more money outside the cage than you can make inside of it. If you have people that are willing to shell out money and buy the pay-per-view, you can earn a cut of that and make millions of dollars.
And if you want to do that, come to Tough Prince, where we'll handle your social media.
Yeah.
Do the last-minute plugs. Showtime, thanks for the call. We got to get out of here. Thank you to everybody that stuck around overtime. We had a great time, and you guys are more than welcome back so we can do a panel and tackle other tough topics.
2019.
No. Tough Prince. Bootsy, where do you have any social media?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. You just look up Blame Bootsy. Everybody blames me for stuff, so Blame Bootsy is the easiest way to find it. You can also find me starting in September on Garb. If you look up The Garb on Facebook, you'll see me being terrible at video games, and you can shit on me all day. It'll be great. But for all things MMA and combat sports, Blame Bootsy or Tough Prince. You can just demand I talk to you because I have to check all the messages.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for stopping by. Thanks to Aljamain Sterling. Good job with that booking goes. Danny and Goes, of course, thanks for staying OT. We appreciate it. Junkie Nation with the calls. You guys came strong. I'll check out the comments later. Lately, you haven't been coming strong there. Some really, really nut jobs in there. But regardless, it's all part of this wacky sport, this wacky show. So we'll see you all tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, with another edition of MMA Junkie Radio. Until then, go out there and be champions.
See you.